everyone, it's me Leonie and welcome to another video of Bookmas. Christmas is the time where we all take a step back and appreciate what we have. So today I thought I would talk about some books that could use a little bit more appreciation. In this video I'm going to be recommending some books that I think a lot of people would actually like, if only they knew about it. These are just books that I don't really see a lot here on BookTube. So the first two books are actually quite well-known ones, but I still want to mention them. The first one, I feel like I mention in way too many videos, but whatever. It's Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. Back when Cruel Beauty, Rosamund Hodge's other book, came out, there was a lot of hype. And then this book came out, and no one talked about it. Not even the people that liked Cruel Beauty. That was like, why? Because this book is very good. And it's very different from Cruel Beauty, so if you didn't like that one, you could still give this one a try. So for the 1022nd time, I'm gonna give you a synopsis on Crimson Bound. So basically this book is a retelling of Red Riding Hood. It takes place in a city that is inspired by French culture, and this town is threatened to be destroyed by some kind of big evil. And one day when our main character Rochelle is a young girl, she gets attacked by one of the great evil, his followers, and he gives her a choice. Either I kill you in 3 days, or you kill someone else and you also become a follower of the great evil, but at least you'll live. So our main character kills someone and she lives, and the story basically follows her as she is a follower of this great evil that's threatening the city, and from the inside out she's trying to save the city. The next book is also a title that most people I think already know, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This book had all the hype when it came out. Everyone was hauling it. Almost a year ago actually the second book came out, and I didn't even know because no one was talking about it, and it seemed like everyone had just forgotten The Bone Season. But I think it's a really good book and people should know about it and give it a try. It's an urban fantasy slash dystopian slash science fiction slash fantasy that takes place in far away futuristic, that's actually not, it's 2056, that's not really that far away. But it takes place in future London. It appears that there are people that have clairvoyant powers. So there's people that can read minds, people that can see the future, and our main character who can jump her own mind into someone else's mind, which is very cool. But then our main character is abducted and taken to a prison, and she has no idea what's going on, and there are a lot of other clairvoyant people that are also disappearing, and this book is about finding out what is going on. And there's fighting with demons, there's creepy creatures, there's a lot of underground gang fights, and I really should read the next book, but my wallet is crying. Also, I love the cover. It basically has my three favorite colors, the red and the gold and the indigo thing. I'm not good with those fancy colors, it's purplish blue. So if you're interested in reading an urban fantasy, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. The next three books that I'm going to mention are books that I think no one has ever talked about, ever. But I think that they would appeal to a lot of people if only they knew it existed. The first book is Girl in Translation by Jean Kwok. I will insert a picture of the actual original cover here because it's so much more beautiful than this. This is a contemporary novel that follows a young girl, Kimberly, and her mother as they move from Hong Kong to America. They don't speak English, they don't speak the language, they don't know the customs, they basically have no idea what they should do. They have to live in this really ugly apartment, and every day they have to work at the factory. You could say the odds are not in Kimberly's favor, but the thing is, Kimberly is a very smart girl and she has high potential. So this story follows her as, even though the chances are not right for her, she still is trying to find a way to go to university and go to a good college and make it in America. It follows her from 11-year-old until she's about 20 years old. And even though it's a contemporary that's all about a girl's problems, which is what I usually don't like, this one is all about Kimberly's problems without ever getting annoying and whining. It's just very beautiful and heartwarming to read. This was required reading for me in English class, and to be honest, it was the only required reading book that I actually really enjoyed. So if you're interested in reading a contemporary about like immigration and a girl's life, then definitely give this one a try. The next book I don't have a physical copy of, but it is called The Tricks of the Trade by Floortje Zwichtman. It is originally a Dutch story, but it has been translated in all kinds of languages. So in most languages it's called Tricks of the Trade, but if I'm correct, in Danish and in German the book is called I, Adrian Mayfield. But it has been translated in many languages, even Korean, so there's probably gonna be a translation in your language as well. This is a historical young adult novel that is set in 19th century London, Victorian era London, and it follows a 16-year-old boy named Adrian Mayfield, and he dreams about becoming rich and gaining lots of money and hanging with all the rich people, doing what all the rich people are doing. Little problem is he just got fired and he's dirt poor and now he lives on the street. And as if that isn't enough, he is also at the age where he discovers that he is gay and he is struggling with his sexuality, you know, especially in Victorian era. That is not something that you can just like talk about. I found this to be a very wonderful story. It's all about themes like if you're born poor, can you ever climb the social ladder and become rich? And it also has LGBT plus themes, which I think is a very interesting combination, historical fiction with the LGBT plus, because you usually don't really see that combination. It won a lot of prizes in the Netherlands. The next underhyped book that I want to recommend is actually a manga. I also don't have a physical copy of it, so I will put a picture here with my magical editing skills. And that manga is Arisa by someone. I don't know who wrote it. This is a 12-volume manga and it's a mystery thriller story, which I usually don't reach for, but I highly enjoyed this one. So Tsubasa, who is the more tomboyish part of the twins, decides to dress up as her sister Arisa and start living her life and basically just pretend like she is Arisa to find out what could have been wrong with Arisa and what could have been wrong in her life. So at first everything seems so perfect, like Arisa is class president of the most loved class of the school, but after a while she finds out that there's this thing called King Hour, and every week there's 1 hour where the students send a text to the king and to ask them to grant them their wish. Like they want to get an A for their exam, or they wish that that one girl would fall in love with them. And one wish is picked and it is always granted. Just not in the way that you would want. Yes, the king grants your wish, but after your wish is granted, you wish you didn't wish that. I read it together with my friends, and it's one of those series that just constantly just makes you super paranoia. Like, if you read this with your friends, you're constantly going to be discussing like, oh my gosh, I think this person is the king. Oh no, I think this person is the king. And you basically just go like crazy, and it's super fun, and I recommend it to everyone. It's a crazy ride. And this one has beautiful art. So those were all the underrated books that I wanted to recommend to you. Gotta say, I mostly only read like really hyped books because everyone's talking about them. But you know, now and then, it's very refreshing and very calming to read a book that you haven't heard anything about. You know, just jump in it, completely blank, and then, you know, give your own judgment of it. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you another time. Goodbye!